This week, over 900 University of Pennsylvania female students came together to release an open letter to all complicit in rape culture at their school.
Oh wow, so basically a group of students who think that they have the moral authority to dictate to us, the people, or at least the people in their university to be precise, that they are somehow doing something wrong because they believe in some kind of mythical construct and that they need to change and to somehow become better people, even though they're not the ones who believe in any of this crap and are doing nothing wrong, yet are complicit in something. This is like religious people telling people who are not religious to stop sinning and to stop being complicit in sending people to hell and damning the human race to damnation, even though the apocalypse is happening anyway, because they do things that they disagree with because the holy book says so. Yeah. Good one.
Rape culture is a complex set of beliefs that encourage male sexual aggression and supports violence against women. It is a society where violence is seen as sexy and sexuality as violent.
You have a totally different definition to what other feminists have claimed rape culture is. Because as far as I'm aware, isn't it supposed to be a culture that supports and condones the rape of women, and also the first part of that sentence, that it supports male sexual aggression, which isn't actually clearly defined anyway. Let's take Women Against Violence Against Women and their definition of rape culture. They say that rape culture is a term that was coined by feminists in the United States in the 1970s. It was designed to show the ways in which society blamed victims of sexual assault and normalised male sexual violence. So that's a completely different definition of rape culture than yours. Yours goes completely out of topic into something completely different. And the feminist's favourite dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary, says, a society or environment whose prevailing social attitudes have the effect of normalising or trivialising sexual assault and abuse, which is similar, of course, to the one of Women Against Violence Against Women, and completely different to yours. And to give us a university idea of what it is, this is what Southern Connecticut State University say it is, and they say that rape culture is an environment in which rape is prevalent and in which sexual violence is normalised and excused in the media and popular culture. Rape culture is perpetuated through the use of misogynistic language, the objectification of women's bodies, which is similar to what you said, and the glamorisation of sexual violence, thereby creating a society that disregards women's rights and safety. While yours states a complex set of beliefs that encourage male sexual aggression supports violence against women, it is a society where violence is seen as sexy and sexuality as violent. Now the others all disagreed with this definition, while the other one was kind of in the middle, but they distinguished violence from sexual violence, as there is a difference there. So what is it then? And as far as I'm aware, the only people that consider sexuality, at least male sexuality, to be seen as violent is you, feminism. This is what you believe. This is not what we believe. I don't think sexuality is violent, and I don't think violence is sexy. Although BDSM people would disagree with that, but never mind. Let's continue, people.
In a rape culture, women perceive a continuum of threatened violence that ranges from sexual remarks to sexual touching to rape itself.
Well, the problem with that, then, is sexual touching is all about consent, and that does not mean that such a rape culture exists. Sexual remarks also seem to be a subjective thing, where some people like them, some people don't like them, and men get this as well. So are men also part of this culture? Oh no, wait, they're the only ones that are causing the issues, not being affected by the issues, of course. This is where it all starts to break down. And then to rape itself, as if all these things are a continuum. The continuum thing is sort of like a failsafe, like a get-out-of-jail-free card, because if it isn't a continuum, then the contradictions inherent within it are worsened. Seriously, this is what you guys consider a rape culture? Because all this shit can happen to men, and has happened to men, and it's all frowned upon by society. I've not met anyone who is pro-rape.
Rape culture is also a topic I should not be covering on the show. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm gonna mansplain rape culture? Oh yeah, that's a good career move.
You know, just before I thought it could get any worse, the guy decides to become a complete and utter beta. Oh my god. Oh dear Christy, I just said a naughty word. Am I anti-male then for pretty much describing exactly what this guy is? Look mate, you are brainwashed. You have been told and now believe that because you are a man, you cannot talk about rape or rape culture, which is ridiculous, because what's interesting is the whole term rape culture wasn't actually coined by feminists. I do believe it came from a study about prisons, male prisons, about how there's a rape culture there. And since the act can happen to men as well, although not by British law and certainly not by American or any Western law, you are totally in your right to do so. But even then, the First Amendment protects you, and there's nothing stopping you other than people brainwashing you into thinking you can't talk about it.
Naomi, I need your help.
John, just do your job.
No, I don't want want to.
Yes, you have to do it. I can't. These sexist.
Now, before I mock this stupid skit that they're trying to do and failing horribly at it, because as we know, these people are not funny. They can't be funny because they have no real sense of it, but whatever. She said that she can't be sexist, therefore he has to do it because apparently he can be or is sexist. Wait, what? Why would he be doing this speech if he was sexist? That doesn't make any sense. But hey, this is social justice, where the so-called persecutors are the only ones that can persecute. Never mind the fact that anybody can do this, and it's only a spectrum when they feel like it.
Dummies don't want to hear me talking about rape.
No, means no.
This is actually what they think about the human race, that because she's a woman and because she can't be sexist, therefore us, who are dummies, the audience, which I assume she means the people who agree with her as well as the people who disagree, are dummies, and they don't want to see her for whatever reason. Remember, there's no actual reason, it's just her. We don't want to see her talk about it, and apparently no means no. It's only funny to them, but when we joke about it, that's wrong, and apparently it also doesn't apply to men. So, double standards, people. Double standards.
That phrase is for sexual consent. I'm talking about doing your job.
Bye.
Apparently we live in a rape culture that oppresses women, apparently, yet she's using physical violence against this guy. You see, if we truly lived in that kind of culture, I don't think we'd be showing, one, this guy existing, two, her showing dominance over him, and I'm pretty sure that this video wouldn't exist because the patriarchy would try to get rid of it, rather than, allowing them to say whatever it is that they want to say. I just thought that that was something you should ought to know. But, the guy has to be forced to do this because he's sexist and he's male. I mean, that's totally not sexist at all, is it, people?
Between 20 and 25% of women are sexually assaulted at college.
Just before I get into this again, I did not add any audience laughter. That was them. I thought it was people adding that in to poke fun, but actually they did. Yeah, this is how serious they tackle this subject, people, that you're not supposed to joke about. It's only okay when they do it. But to answer his point, no, that's a false statistic. This is from that stupid survey where basically anything that they asked the person from where you touched, did you have sex drunkenly? Did you have sex this particular way, or did you kiss somebody this particular way? Did they do this to you specifically? Was labelled as sexual assault / rape or what have you. That's not how you do a study, and that's not how you come up with these numbers. The only way you can come up with such numbers is if you start from your conclusion and then work to that conclusion, rather than, actually report stuff and actually try and find out what is and what is not. This is somebody basically redefining the word so that anything can encompass that and then say, look, we've got an issue. This is them creating issues out of nothing. And this is what we've got today. And in fact, the American Association of University Women said that 91% of colleges reported 0 incidents of rape in 2014. So how is it that a quarter of them are suffering from this? This is basically just pointless fear-mongering, and it's best to just debunk it whenever you can and make sure that people are aware of the actual reality here.
80 to 90% of them don't report it for a number of troubling reasons.
Yeah, interesting. How do you know that 80 to 90% of them don't report it if they're not reported? How do you know? Again, they're bringing up these statistics that have been debunked time and time again and basically spreading lies. If they're not reported, how do we know they're not reported? Who are you asking? There's no way that they have found people who have never reported these crimes and took them at their word that this did happen to them and then come to this conclusion that there's now 80 to 90% that are unreported. How do you know that this happened to them? This is ridiculous. At least I don't say I know the exact number because we don't. We don't even know how many true crimes are happening of any crime. It's ridiculous.
One of which is not wanting to be victim blamed for their assault.
Who by? The police? The people? Their friends? Their family? Because as far as I'm aware, this doesn't usually happen. And if it does, these people are being incredibly unprofessional. And funnily enough, this seems to be something that's reported a lot by men who have been raped. They seem to be laughed away, like, oh no, you clearly liked it, you had an erection, blah 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 blah. Yet no word from feminists when we point this out. No, apparently this only happens to women. Yet they can never actually show us an actual example of this. Just wondering. Oh, I can hear the cries and shouts of Danny Court saying, "You need to show your sources."
I was victim blamed once. Granted, I purposefully shot myself in the throat with a paintball to see if it would make me sing like Barry White.
Mate, that was one of the worst and most cringiest jokes I've ever heard. And seriously, these people are joking about these issues, yet they will decry it when we do it. Or if a comedian does it who's not on any side. Like, can you at least be consistent? And it's funny that they're basically mocking male victims when they say this. Oh dear. But then again, in these people's world, there is no such thing, so I guess it's fair game to them.
So it was my fault, but I was still the victim.
Oh yeah, he had an erection, so he clearly wanted it. It was his fault that he had a sexual encounter that he didn't want with this particular person. Oh, it's such a laughing matter when we do it.
According to the site Everyday Feminism,
This is what they always say. They quote this as a source, and yet complain when I don't use sources that I've already sourced in previous videos for a video that is similar to those. At least my sources that I use aren't stupid, and aren't just basically a stupid internet blog that went big. At least I have actual academic sources, but hey, whatever, who cares?
when we're taught that an entire gender exists purely to satisfy others' needs, it dehumanizes millions of people, and it's very difficult to have empathy for someone that you don't view as a real person.
Where did they get this from exactly? Who teaches them this shit? Who teaches us this shit? I wasn't taught that. You certainly weren't taught that, otherwise you wouldn't be against it in the first place. What the hell? Where is this coming from? They pull it out of their ass, I swear. There's literally no academic source that I've seen that actually says that this is a thing in our society.
Yeah. Our societal objectification of women allows for us to normalize and make excuses for the pervasive and unaccountable sexual assaults committed against them.
So what you're saying is that because we have nude models, porn, racy adverts, racy TV, racy films and games and all sorts, that somehow psychically tells people that it's okay to rape and to victim blame, to do all these things, and it dehumanizes people. How? These are consenting adults doing this. And men also get this. There are male nude models and male porn stars, males who subjectify themselves, so that's what really we should be calling it, subjectification. But never mind, apparently it's objectification. This leads from A to B without any real logical path. It's like the bullying thing. How can you somehow tell people to do something that you never told them? It's stupid.
This is rape culture in America.
No, it isn't. This doesn't describe anything at all. This just shows that we have particular things in our society. This doesn't actually promote any ideas or anything like that. They're just people who are used to sell things or to show a particular thing in a film. This is not trying to tell people what to think. You are telling people what to think. You are telling people that this is telling them what to think when they're not. You have no idea what these people think and what they take from it. This is this hypodermic needle theory nonsense that has been debunked. People do not just take information and leave it at that. No, they put their own spin on it. They think about it over and over again, or they ignore it completely. Like, do you honestly think somebody looks at a naked picture of a woman and goes, that's not a human being? Nonsense. They'd have to be a complete nutter sociopath. And what you're saying is that most men are like that.
Not to be confused with vape culture in America, which is also horrifying.
So now you're attacking people who vape while also doing a horrible pun? Seriously, you guys could not be more inconsistent if you tried. More double standard bullshit while also attacking a culture that was uncalled for. Why are you attacking people who vape? And since when were they a culture? Also, it really feels that this laughing track is there just to point out to them that they can laugh at this, and this is where they should laugh because they don't have a sense of humour. Is it just me? Just wondering.
Somebody needs to report that shit.
Why? Because it had men in it who were having the time of their lives? And are you trying to imply that because there seems to be a lot more men who are in this so-called culture that it's wrong? Just wondering, because there was no women being shown in that clip. Is that what you're inferring?
Rape culture permeates our entire society. It's misogynist images in pop culture, it's street harassment, it's athletes charged with rape calling their victims career destroyers.
Most of those things have nothing to do with rape, and by the way, in referring to that other person as a career destroyer, what if she is? What if he's right? And also, you saying that those pictures are misogynist is your subjective opinion. Somebody else can have a look at that picture and think nothing of it, and think that's a nice pretty picture, I like it. Or someone could have no opinion whatsoever. Is this what it is? Is a subjective thing? Is this what this so-called culture is? And apparently it permeates everything, and is even in something that isn't actually rape or even anything to do with it? Jesus Christ.
It's not believing the survivors of sexual assault.
Listen and believe people, even if you want to be objective and try to get to the root of the problem, or if someone's story just simply doesn't add up. No, that's rape culture apparently. Yeah, good job people, good job. You've now made the police's jobs even harder, because now they're reinforcing this mythical thing that doesn't even exist, and now they're misogynists. Well done, feminists, well done. Because last I checked, wasn't this whole thing called rape illegal? Like, you can't do it. Again, these people, they just don't think, do they? Like when they make these stupid theories.
It's defining womanhood as submissive and sexually passive.
But this is all that you people infer in your theories and your books and what you say. Women are weak and can't defend themselves, thus need all these laws and stuff, or they're not as good as men, therefore they need affirmative action and all this stuff. This is what you say about women, not what we say. I think women are strong and can do whatever they want if they put their minds to it.
It's defining manhood as dominant and sexually aggressive.
But in this very video, you inferred that that is what men are, and that rape culture encourages that to foster and grow. So, what are we then? Are we sexually aggressive, or are we not sexually aggressive? Can you please make your minds up and stop being hypocrites?
Which is a definition I completely don't agree with. I define manhood as lazy with a touch of depression, because that's what I am, and I'm a man. Look!
Vroom, 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 and my heart soul a flutter. It goes boom, boom, boom.
I guess it's one of those it's funny because it's true moments, isn't it, people? Because that's what they literally think we are.
The University of Pennsylvania women wrote the open letter in part in response to a sexually vile party invitation poem emailed from the Oz fraternity to several female freshmen,
who then posted it all over campus, explaining that this is what rape culture looks like, and we are watching.
I smell bullshit, people, so let's just take a look at this poem, shall we? Ladies, the year is now upon us. May we have your attention, please? We're looking for the fun ones and say fuck off to a tease. Wednesday nights will get you going with bankers flowing all night. Tonight is your first showing, so please wear something tight. 204 is where you'll join us. Bring friends and maybe more. Natty light is your delight, so get hype for what's in store. Really? That's rape culture? That's just a stupid banter poem that somebody came up with on the spot, clearly. And by the way, none of that is saying that they're going to rape anybody or there's going to be unconsensual stuff. They're asking people. Jesus Christ. But what's he gonna say about it?
It's not really Shakespeare, I guess. And I looked up bankers on Urban Dictionary. It means a woman a man knows he can hook up with if the one he's trying for doesn't come through.
Okay, it's someone who he knows he has a chance with. What's that got to do with anything? And if this is a person that he can bank on having sex with, that means that she's consenting to that sex, and other people aren't, so he's going to her because she's going to say yes to him. So that means that these guys are looking for consent, and therefore men are looking for consent. This goes against your argument, mate.
It's a woman a man thinks he can bank on having sex with.
Well, no, that's not what it means. It's not that he thinks, it's that she will consent. She's the person who is going to say yes. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, this is great. You're gonna tell me rape culture isn't real? We're okay with stuff like this?
Why, yes. I already did so, but I'll say it again. Yes!
Grow up! We need to acknowledge this and move forward!
Mate, you're getting triggered over something that people 50 years ago, 100 years ago, hell, even in the 1500s, would not have been triggered by. Because, believe it or not, sexual humour does not mean that you think ill of a particular gender or a particular person or anything like that. It's called a joke, mate. This is not reinforcing anything. You are like the most puritanical and most prissy generation since, well, the Puritans. And that's an achievement.
Reporting from Washington, John F. O'Donnell, redacted tonight.
Thank God it's over. I got told to grow up by a crybaby. Oh, the irony. Anyway, people, that's the end of the video. This has been Charming Man 93. Like and share the video, subscribe to my channel, donate to the Patreon. Until next time, I will see you all later.